How has it been so quiet on the Marner front? I mean, he's a UFA. He's got the no trade. He's basically got all the leverage in this theoretical, either game of chicken or negotiation, whatever you want to call it, between him and the Leafs. His last contract was incredibly heavily criticized. He was the poster boy for playoff failures. It's dead silent. What's going on, and what do you think happens?
Well, just like everyone, when you're talking about the Leafs, the only thing that really matters is the playoffs. And Mitch is doing Mitch things in his contract year. He's playing phenomenal. He's got points coming out the yin yang, and he's oftentimes the Leafs' best player. And people are used to that. A lot of people are just, they have his poster on their kid's wall and they love him and they want him to re-sign forever. Other people are hesitant, but they get a lot of flack when they say we need to move on from this guy. And he's putting up the points that he is. So at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters here is the playoffs. And I think that the Leafs would be smart to wait until the playoffs are over. I realize you can't get anything for him if you choose to move on from it. But with the salary cap going where it is, with what he would make, and with John Tavares coming off the cap as far as an $11 million hit, whether they resign him or not, there's going to be room to play with. So I really believe that the play is see what they do in the playoffs. If Mitch stems up and becomes the hero in the playoffs and they go to the Eastern Conference Finals and he proves he can get it done in the postseason, I believe they'll extend him. And if not, they might walk away from him. I don't see a world where a trade happens in this day and age with the salary cap and whatnot, and with him holding all the cards with his no move clause. I think that's the most likely scenario, but I don't think the Leafs would be smart to do anything unless they see what he can do this year in the playoffs.
It's interesting how quick things can change, because now you've got the Tavares deal. What is it done this year? Is this it?
It's up. He's at 11 mil. And
yeah, because for the longest time it was, the Leafs have so much money, they can't do all of this money. Well, then if Tavares goes, or even if he resigns at a lower number, the cap's going up and all, they're not in peril anymore. You could conceivably keep Mitch Marner. I mean, I know you've been critical of Marner, and who hasn't been, based on his playoff performance in the past, but I mean, the guy's leading them in points. He does nothing but get points. He gets them to the playoffs along with some others, but he's a hell of a good player. And for as soft as he's criticized as being, he puts up with a lot of shit and abuse. He seems to love it there. All you want is guys that want to play for your team. Here's a guy that clearly loves the Leafs. I am interested to see how this does play out.
Yeah, and it'll be exactly that. It'll be interesting. I don't know where Shanahan and Tree Living's head is at as far as Mitch Marner. I don't know how much stock they put in him and how much they're willing to allocate to him. But, there's two different things. They can, if they move on from him, I mean, the cap goes up, you get him off the books, and I think they will sign John Tavares based on.
They'll come back on a friendly deal, won't they? Like low money?
I would think so.
$77 million.
Yeah, he's coming. And everyone thought when he signed that, the last 2 years of that deal, he's going to be, he's not going to be worth it at all, but we're putting in the eggs in the basket right now to get him to Toronto. But he's, maybe not $11 million, but he's having a hell of a good year. He's putting up tons of, point a game type of guy, and is doing everything you could ask for a player at that situation in his contract. So you get him down to, say, $5 million. There you open up another $6 million, the cap goes up. And if you walk away from Mitch, and everyone knows that the UFA crop coming in is pretty heavy. So there's reason to believe that could be something in a direction that they could go in and try to revamp their team, especially if they do the exact same thing in the playoffs and come up short and can't score the goals. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's kind of what they've been doing for the last 8-9 years with this core four, if you want to still call it that. So I think it's a huge year for Mitch Marner in particular, and for the Leafs specifically in the playoffs this year, as it always is. But I think the direction of this team will be dictated by this year's playoffs.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.